Welcome back, everybody. My name is Henderson, and I am so glad that you and your beautiful soul decided to join me here again today. Whether you're new here or you are a long-time subscriber, I welcome you, and I hope that you have something to take away from today's video that will keep you inspired and growing and eager for change. So we just finished up a whole series on the Wheel of Emotions. If you haven't checked that out, go do it, because having the vocabulary to be able to express yourself is important. It's important for yourself and your own growth. It's important for relationships and being able to communicate in a healthy way. Also for work environments as well. So do yourself a favor, go watch those, check it out. You will definitely have some takeaways and find some words that maybe you need to let go of and some that you need to focus on utilizing more. I just got back from an incredible, amazing training over in Colorado. And so I missed a week, and I am excited to be back. And what I want to do and use this time and space for today is to encourage you, is to remind you that even though sometimes guilt wells up in your life as you're starting to grow and change, and you're seeing that maybe those around you in your life are not so receptive, that it is okay and it will be okay. So I want to read something to you. When you start living differently from the masses, it makes everyone uncomfortable. The fact that you no longer play the same game of fear and drama like you were conditioned to makes everyone aware of their own limitations. So when I hear words like conditioned, it makes me think of this amazing book. And yes, there is a video I've created before on this book, The 4 Agreements. Definitely check that out. But the very beginning of this book talks about being domesticated and conditioned and taught how to act, right? Meet my expectations. And a lot of us, myself included, become people pleasers. And we're tiptoeing around, we're walking on eggshells, we have a mask on, sometimes multiple masks. One for our parents, one for our teachers, one for our church leaders and our friends. And we're trying so desperately not to upset them that we lose who we are. We realize we don't know what we actually like, and it feels overwhelming and exhausting to try to please everyone when it is in fact impossible. Some of you, I always thought I was a massive people pleaser and that I was great at it. Well, no one can be great at people pleasing. We can run ourselves ragged, and we can make other people get really used to the fact that we don't have boundaries, which is why you may have noticed when you start to practice having boundaries, the people in your life are a little uncomfortable with it. This is a brand new you. And what I want to remind you of is just because other people are uncomfortable with your changes doesn't mean that you're heading in the wrong direction. Doesn't mean that it's wrong at all. It just means that they have some of their own thoughts and feelings, and they're allowed to. Now, do you have to take care of them? Are you now their coach or their counselor? Do you now have to make them feel comfortable? Not at all. They have the same access as you to resources, whether it's free resources like YouTube, or if you join me over on TikTok at 3 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday, right? Free resources to grow and to learn. You can grab this book online, the free PDF, or head to the library and borrow this book. Or you can reach out and sign up with a life coach like me to have some one-on-one help and encouragement. If you are noticing that you might be in a bubble where, I'm in a bubble where no one's really good at boundaries and I'm people pleasing everybody. And when I try to grow and stretch, it makes them very uncomfortable and they want to try to pull me back down to safety out of love. even though that's not the translation that you get from it. So remembering that and noticing that and reaching out for help. TikTok seems to be an amazing place for people to reach out and find like-minded individuals who might not be related to them, might not be in the same country or in the same state even, but yet they have the same ideas and same wants. They want to grow, they want to shift, they want to evolve. They don't want to remain stuck and repeating the same patterns. They want to start to break those generational curses, and I want to encourage you to do that. If you're watching this video, it's for a reason. When you operate on an absolute, authentic frequency, people don't even know how to approach you anymore because you outgrow their energy. So let's talk about energy for a moment, right? As you heal, kind of like leveling up. If you like to play games, right? If we want to go super old school to Mario Brothers, right? You successfully complete level 1, you get to go on to level 2. In the game of life, if we are stuck in the same loop, most of my people have heard me repeat this quote, "What you resist persists." So if you're not learning from these lessons that are presenting itself, it's going to repeat, and you're going to have to do that level over again, right? You're going to have to do it over and over again to where your friends, or you might be leveling up, and your family is stuck in this loop and this pattern. And as you go up, you'll start to notice the energy, the frequency, the vibration is different. It feels better. Although there's still some confusion, there might still be some guilt attached to this, because you might notice, my energy feels different when I'm around these people, where I don't feel like I'm enough, where they're constantly criticizing me. And you're growing, and part of you wants to stall out, to stay on that same level. But continue to grow, continue to notice how it feels when you're choosing yourself. It's not selfish, right? Self-care isn't selfish. Growing and learning and healing is not selfish, right? It's the same thing that you would want for your family and your friends. You would want them to feel healthier and happier. So remember that when you start to guilt yourself. Have some self-compassion, have some grace. Let's keep reading. When you are different, people don't know where to fit you anymore. Your existence transcends their preconceived ideas. So of course, you're going to be different than when you were a kid, or even when you were in high school. Maybe even when you were in college or a little after. I know I've grown, and I continue to grow and learn and change. And luckily, my wife is so supportive and loves all of that. And at this point, my mom is used to me evolving and changing. At the very beginning, it felt uncomfortable and unsure, and it's hard for moms to stop momming, right? That need to continue to mother, even though we're not in this mother-child hierarchy anymore. Now we're two adults. So once we stop adding and compounding our fears together, it can be easier. If you continue to act like their child, they're going to continue to try to mother, right? Once you grow into this adult position and you start to have boundaries, things can start to change. But it takes some action on your part. Your boundaries don't get to tell them what to do, but your boundaries let them know, if you do this, I don't choose to be around at this time, right? I choose to go home if you're going to say hateful things. If our conversations turn into screaming, no, I choose not to have those conversations anymore. And what a healthy conversation that is. And wouldn't we want the same thing for our children or our nieces and nephews? So when you start to get stuck in your head and feeling bad and shoulding all over yourself with what you should and shouldn't do, take yourself out of the equation and think about someone you love and what you would want for them. Would you want them to speak harshly? Would you want someone to abuse them? Not at all. And notice how quick that answer comes to you, because it's coming from the gut, coming from your knowing. It's an easy answer. You don't have to think about it. When we get into our head and our ego, we overthink and overthink. And we come up with those shoulds and the guilt and expectations from other people throughout our life. So remember that. You won't be able to meet people's expectations anymore because you're not the same person anymore. And you no longer operate on the same frequencies. Embrace your growth. So when we try to meet other people's expectations, it's a losing game. You can try and you can try. But if these two people have conflicting expectations, guess what? One of them is going to be let down. So what if we start to shift and think about our own expectations for our own life? What is it that you want for your life? Now, sometimes we can get into a perfectionistic mode and have extreme expectations and we let ourselves down, right? We start to do this, and instead of realizing that failure is a way forward, it's a way to grow, it's a way to learn, and that it's okay and everyone does it. If we don't realize that, then we're just going to continue to beat ourselves up. We're going to stay stuck in that pattern, and we don't want that to persist at all. So when thinking about expectations, remember, others' expectations are not for you. They might have hopes and wishes for you, but you get to live your own life. They have theirs. They can make their decisions. You get to live yours. And two, when it comes to your own expectations, check in with them. Notice. I've heard it said that in 1 year, we tend to overestimate what we can get done. And then we ultimately let ourselves down and feel horrible. And then in 10 years, we underestimate what we can get done, which is why I definitely work with my clients on setting goals and looking at them and planning them out and noticing if it's a healthier goal than expectations that might have been placed upon them in the past. So what I read to you today was from the higher self on Instagram. So go check it out. I'm not sure who the original creator was, but that's where I borrowed it from. And it's great and it's worth listening to again. And if you are a people pleaser, I do have it also posted and shared over in my free people pleaser group over on Facebook. If you want to find and join that group, we have Tuesday morning lives at 9:30 a.m. Central. Come and join us. To find that group, go ahead and go to my site, AMh&x.com, scroll down, and then click on the button to join that group. We would love to have you. Thank you again for joining us here. Continue to elevate, to work on higher energies, cheer yourself on, and come back and join us here if this was a helpful video. I'm cheering you on. You have got this.